Today we're going to address a serious matter that I know is tearing families and friends apart this time of year. We are firmly in November, barreling toward American Thanksgiving, and I know many of us Yanks are split into two camps. One who believes firmly in no green, no red, no trees, no garland, and no Mariah belting what she wants until after you have eaten yourself into a coma on Thanksgiving. While the second group has been singing carols, watching elf, hanging stockings with care as soon as the first oak leaf turned yellow. Well, the question is, can you put up Christmas decorations before American Thanksgiving? You can bet your cornbread stuffing that church history has something to say on this matter. Let's dive in. Welcome, explorers. In this video, we are going to let history speak to the heated debate of whether or not you should put up Christmas decorations before American Thanksgiving. And before we can simply say yes or no, we need to know where these two holidays originate. And let's begin with American Thanksgiving. American Thanksgiving and practices are rooted in the story of the Plymouth colonists sharing a harvest meal with the local Native Americans in 1621. There is quite a bit of legend attached to this event, so what happened exactly is somewhat hard for historians to pin down. But it is generally believed the Native Americans and colonists shared a harvest meal together. Bonus fun fact, it is far more likely that the birds being eaten were geese or ducks rather than turkeys in Plymouth. And I am all for ducks replacing turkeys. They are by far the tastier option. But Thanksgiving was not continually celebrated in November or any time of the year in the American settlements or in the United States following this joint feast in the 1600s. That might be surprising for you to learn, but Thanksgivings in the United States prior to 1942 was not a set or stable holiday. Thanksgivings were called by the federal and state governments as a day of celebration for some reason or another. Often they were called to celebrate military victories, but they could be called for other reasons as well, such as the Constitution taking effect. And it was Abraham Lincoln that called for a Thanksgiving on the last Thursday of November in 1863 during the Civil War. And every subsequent president followed Lincoln's example and called a Thanksgiving to be celebrated in the United States on the last Thursday in November, until we come to Franklin Roosevelt. Roosevelt wanted to extend Christmas shopping, so he wanted to move Thanksgiving to a week earlier, and this led to a big debate. I mean, you don't just stop following Lincoln's example in the United States. And this led to a back and forth between Roosevelt and Congress, and a compromise was reached. American Thanksgiving was officially recognized and established as an ongoing holiday on the fourth Thursday of November in 1942. So Roosevelt got his way in a 5 Thursday November, and the last week supporters get their way in a 4 Thursday November. And that is how American Thanksgiving came to be and came to be solidified on the 4th Thursday of November. Christmas, a day to celebrate the incarnation of Jesus Christ, is celebrated by Christians on either December 25th or January the 6th. And I'm sure that the January 6th date blew the minds of some of you, but yes, there are Christians that celebrate Christmas on January the 6th. But the fascinating history of the dating of Christmas is another video. And the origin of a time of preparation before Christmas, often called Advent or the Nativity Fast, has murkier origins than American Thanksgiving, but are fairly ancient in their practice. We have synods from the 4th and 6th centuries that advocated for a time of preparation before Christmas. Gregory the Great in the 6th century preached a sermon entitled On the Second Sunday of Advent, giving evidence of an established Advent. And I am confident in saying by the 7th 7th century, a time of preparation was being celebrated by the church in an established and widespread manner. And using the all-important theology of dibs, since pre-Christmas preparation predates American Thanksgiving by around 1,000 years or more, Advent, or the Nativity Fast, holds priority over American Thanksgiving. But just because Advent and the Nativity Fast has dibs does not make this issue settled. There are multiple liturgical church calendars. There is not one church calendar that applies to all Christian churches. There are multiple, so we must examine a few church calendars. First, there is the Big O Orthodox denomination. The Orthodox actually have two calendars in practice. When Pope Gregory XIII changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, which most of the world uses today, the Orthodox Church did not accept it. The Orthodox Church continued to use the Julian calendar for their holy days and their liturgical calendar. But in 1923, the Orthodox Church called an Inter-Orthodox Congress, which did adopt a new liturgical calendar. But not every Orthodox group was at this meeting, and many did not accept the new calendar. They continued to use the old one. Now, the Big O Orthodox Church uses two calendars today. These calendars are respectively called the Gregorian or New Calendar and the Julian or Old Calendar. And the Orthodox observe a 40-day nativity fast leading up to Christmas. In the Old Calendar, Christmas is January the 6th, so the 40-day nativity fast will begin after American Thanksgiving. So, no Christmas decorations before American Thanksgiving in the Old Orthodox calendar. But in the New Orthodox calendar, Christmas is on December 25th. So the 40-day nativity fast begins before American Thanksgiving. And using the theology of dibs, the much older 40-day nativity fast holds primacy. So in the New Orthodox calendar, Christmas decorations are acceptable before American Thanksgiving. And before we get to the popular Western liturgical calendar, we must examine one quirk in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church instituted an official liturgical calendar in the Council of Trent in the 1500s, but they do allow the use of a different liturgical calendar by special permission. This is the Ambrosian liturgy, named after Ambrose of Milan, and it is used mainly by a single church in Milan and possibly a few others, and Advent in this calendar is 6 weeks. So even though its use is small, it is active, and this calendar's Advent precedes American Thanksgiving. And this brings us to the Western liturgical calendar, which comprises the Catholic calendar as well as the Protestant calendars of the Methodist, Anglican, Presbyterian, and most other non-Big O Orthodox liturgical churches in the United States. And there are some slight differences on saint days, but they are in general in agreement on Advent and Christmas. And the first Sunday of Advent is the Sunday closest to the feast day of St. Andrew, which is November 30th. This means that the first Sunday of Advent can be as early as November 27th and as late as December 3rd. But for our discussion, Advent is always the 4 Sundays preceding Christmas. And with a 4 Thursday November, American Thanksgiving is the Thursday before the first Sunday of Advent. But before you think, yes, no Christmas decorations before American Thanksgiving in the Western calendar, not so fast. There is a church service called the Hanging of the Greens to add to this conversation. The Hanging of the Greens is a worship service where the church is prepared to celebrate Advent. And some churches combine the Hanging of the Green and the first Sunday of Advent, so they will not hang decorations before American Thanksgiving. But other churches say no. You need to complete church preparation before Advent begins. So they celebrate the Hanging of the Greens on the Sunday before Advent, which in a 4 Thursday November is the Sunday prior to American Thanksgiving. Again, this would be Christmas decorating prior to American Thanksgiving in the Western calendar. And of course, there are 5 Thursday Novembers, when American Thanksgiving is not the last week of November, but a week earlier, which typically places American Thanksgiving on the Thursday before a hanging of the greens that is celebrated the Sunday before Advent begins. So no Christmas decorations before American Thanksgiving in a 5 Thursday November in the Western calendar at all. Aren't liturgical calendars fun? So to recap, Christmas decorations before American Thanksgiving are appropriate in the New Orthodox calendar, the Ambrosian liturgy, and the Western calendar when celebrating the hanging of the greens the Sunday prior to the first Sunday of Advent in a 4 Thursday November. And Christmas decorations are a no-no before American Thanksgiving in the Old Orthodox calendar and the Western calendar when celebrating the hanging of the greens on the first Sunday of Advent or in a year with a 5 Thursday November. Now, go and have a real conversation with your loved ones, not about when to put up Christmas decorations in relation to American Thanksgiving, but which church liturgical calendar that you want guiding your path with God. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and my bibliography is in the description below. Be blessed.